What's up, metalheads? My name's Jamie. This is the Blades and EDC channel. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. And if you are one of the more than half the people that watch my videos who is not subscribed, so you are not a metalhead yet, I would really appreciate your subscription. Click that subscribe button and turn your notifications on. I upload daily content, some days multiple videos per day, and I would appreciate your support. So today we're going to jump into a knife that I'm going to get some hate on this one. I'm going to go ahead and say it right now. I know I'm going to get hate on this knife, and I'm prepared for it. I really want to, if you disagree with what I'm going to say about this knife, I would love you to argue, not argue, but give me your reasoning in the comments. Yeah, so I can take it. Bring it on. I get it. You know, some people feel certain ways about some things and others don't. But, you know, with all that being said, when I get to what I'm talking about, you know what I mean. But this is a fantastic knife. This is the Small Sebenze 31 by Reeves. Titanium frame lock, S45V in blade steel, 2.99 inch blade, 6.98 inches overall length. It is riding on washers, has that washer action, has a ceramic ball detent, titanium pocket clip, titanium hardware. This is the Tonto version with a hollow grind. This is a very well made knife, made in the USA. It runs $420. And it's extremely well made. Has an excellent detent. I mean, you can just hear it click in, and then the lockup sounds amazing. One of the complaints I really have with this knife is the thumb stud sucks. It sucks. It's a freaking pyramid to a point. The only reasoning I can come up with for why they did that is so it's easier to manipulate the blade with gloves on, because it makes no sense to have that pointy thumb stud there, you know, with your bare hands. It's very uncomfortable, actually. If you get to where you can hit it on the side, it's not that bad, but, you know, a lot of times you end up hitting it right on the top, and it's just, you know, as you can see, puts a divot in your thumb. It's not very comfortable. They would have done, they could have been much better with, you know, like a bug out thumb stud. Let's go ahead and actually do some size comparisons real quick, and then I'll give my pros and cons on this knife. And when I say bug out thumb stud, this shaped thumb stud would have worked great on that knife, but here's the Benchmade bug out. Here's an AD 20.5. Here's a Benchmade Mini Freak. Still smaller than all those. Mini Freak's the closest in size so far. How about the Spyderco Yojimbo 2? It's going to be quite a bit smaller than the Yojimbo 2. How about a QSP Penguin? Shorter than a penguin. Quite a bit shorter than a penguin. Here's a Kaiser Feist. A little bit bigger than the Kaiser Feist. Urban EDC F5.5. Almost identical in length to the F5.5. I think they are identical in length, although it's much thinner and not nearly as wide as a F5.5. Here is a Spartan Bladeworks Harsey. Here's a Hinder XM18. And where did it go? Where did it go? Where did I put my Rockwall? There's my Rockwall. Here's the Tactile Knife Co. Rockwall. So here's three very cool knives, right? All made in the USA. Reeves and Hinder, they've been around a long time, much longer than Tactile has, at least in the knife game. Tactile made ink pens, and they just started making knives in the past couple of years, and Tactile is killing it. Which brings me, we're going to take the XM18 out of here for now, but keep an eye out for an overview coming to this knife very, very soon. But I'm going to leave the rock wall here to discuss this Small Sebenze. First, let me give you the pros on this knife. Pros: neutral ergos, very good ergos. The jimping right here is fantastic. Your thumb lands there, it feels really good. And then with the way your index finger lands there, the jimping there, it's like you're just pushing, it just locks your hands in. You're just locked in on this knife. Feels really good in hand. Pocket clip works extremely well. The action is fantastic. It is washer action. Keep that in mind. It's not like a bearing knife. It's not meant to be like a bearing knife. Action's fantastic. The lockup looks and sounds, feels amazing. Makes a great sound on the lockup also. And the detent is fantastic. Hear that lockup? Listen to that detent click in. Yeah. For washer action, it's fantastic. S45VN blade still. Yeah. The downside to this, the two cons I have for this knife, and one's the thumb stud. Thumb stud sucks. It really does. It's terrible. And the price. This is $420. Rockwall's $300. This Rockwall's $330 because of the additional milling, but the regular Rockwall, $300. $420. They've been making, Chris Reeves been making knives a lot longer than Tactile has. And I get these are two very different knives, you know, with different uses, different intended uses, I would say. But the fact that this is, it's overpriced, guys. Okay, and bring the comments. I want to hear you argue why, but politely argue why it's worth $420 when you can buy a Rockwall for $300, and why they're still charging that in this day and age. I don't understand. I can't. I've tried. I've had this here for a while. This is Craig's knife, by the way. Craig traded ID a knife for this knife, and I worked out the trade for him. I got to ship this to Craig. But I've had it here for a while, and I've been trying to justify it in my mind. Why? Why? The Rockwall, if I'd never owned a Rockwall, didn't know anything about the Rockwall, I would just look at this Small Sebenze as a knife that is out of my price range, and it's probably super nice. And if I had it here, I'd probably love it and be like, oh man, I see why it costs that much, you know, if I hadn't touched the Rockwall. But the fact that I have the Rockwall, I can't see why this is $120 more than that. If anything, when I look at these two knives, I would think the Rockwall took more work to make, more machine work to do it. It's magna cut still also. So, and I'm not saying the Rockwall is better than the Small Sebenze. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just looking at what it would take to do the work to make the knife, and the materials used, and the machining that would be required to do both these knives. And I can't for the life of me understand why this knife costs as much as it does. It's not to say it's not a great knife. It is a great knife. It's a fantastic knife. Extremely well made. Very nice. But it's not $420 nice. And yeah, that's it. That's probably why, that's why I'm going to get the hate that I mentioned at the beginning of the video, because I think this knife is way overpriced. At $300, I'd feel better about it. But honestly, I don't think it meets... I don't think it should cost that much. If Tactile can do what they're doing for $300, I don't get it. I don't understand why this costs so much more. It makes no sense to me. Yeah, and I get this will probably outlast a Rockwall, just because it's thicker titanium, slightly thicker blade stock, actually thinner blade stock. Never mind. Because it's on washers, it doesn't have to be cleaned as much, but you don't get the bearing action. I understand all that. I know that this is different action, meant to be different action, always going to be different action. It's not about the action, it's about the materials used, the machining required to make the knife. Why is one so much more? I think it's overpriced. Alright guys, let's go wrap it up. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. If you got something to say, please comment below. I welcome your comments. I would be happy to debate you on why that knife is overpriced. And if you think it isn't overpriced, let me know why. I'd love to hear your explanation as to why it's not. I'll see you guys on the next one.